There we go. How about that? Well, here we are back once again for another episode of Opinions from Offside. I'll tell you what, like, I can only see a little bit of your framing, but it almost seems like familiar to me. It's almost like you're back where you belong. It's like your background, your backdrop. Something seems different. Can you reveal to our viewers where you are?
I mean,
Are you back in prison?
Back in Tenerife at the minute. You can see my little gaff in the background on this side.
Here we go.
I'm back in Tenerife for the week to sort out some paperwork, see a few peeps, and try, coming soon, a live podcast with both of us in the same room, chatting waffle, hopefully live with some interaction. But we'll see what happens.
100%. That would be a beautiful thing. Well, I've got a really good topic to talk about with you today, and a really personal topic in many respects. And I know I'm going to reference, you went recently, a couple of weeks ago, you went and was lucky enough to go to a Leicester match, right? So I'm curious, before we start, I'll ask you this. How was your match day experience? So, I mean, talk me through roughly what you did. Did you go and have a beer with the boys beforehand? Did you get a pie at half time? Were you singing along with the fans? Tell me about your match day experience, and I'll tell you why it's pertinent in a minute.
Well, ordinarily, we'd have met up and had a couple of beers first of all. Big shout to Big Rutter, who got us the tickets for me and Jerome to go. But he got caught out with some traffic, so we were running late. But drove halfway there, popped up, walked up to the stadium, had a chat about what we were expecting of the game and all that jazz. Got to the stadium, got our seats. We were literally there, maybe missed all the warm-up and everything, so maybe 10 minutes before the game started. But it was nice. Literally, as we got there, Leicester have got a singing section in the bottom right-hand side of the stadium. Yeah, got a singing section where, like a cappella. No instruments or nothing. Love it.
They got songs going over there, did they?
Yeah, they had some songs going, like some chants for the players. Nothing like Bohemian Rhapsody there, but it was good. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, the rendition of Jamie Vardy's Having a Party came out a couple of times, but it's all fun and games.
Has to be done.
Yeah, half time, but then we seen a few of the other lads that we know. We went out a couple of beers, had a little sausage roll, had a chat outside while the lads were having a smoke, and then got in, watched the second half, seen Leicester, capitulate and fall apart a little bit after big Jean Medetta got the first. But apart from that, it was good. I mean, we left a little bit early just to beat the traffic because, to be honest, Leicester looked a bit beaten there towards the end of the last 10 minutes or so. But it was, all in all, it was good. We were supposed to go Friday, but obviously I am in Tenerife doing a few bits. But we will go again and we'll experience the match day experience again. I mean, Michael, what brings that up?
Well, it sounds like a day at the football. That's what it sounds like to me. So I imagine you had a couple of pints and a sausage roll there. Were the pints were what, £7.5, £8 a pint, were they? No. I guess 3 of you going. I guess that was the best part of 25 quid. By the time you've had and also, was it sweet or salty? Which popcorn did you have sitting in your seat watching the match?
Have you been cinema? I think you're getting confused, mate. That's not a football day experience. Football day experience. We were there. Right. We had 2 sausage rolls for £2.50. We had what? 2 sausage rolls for £2.50. We had 2 Copperbergs and a coffee because Ash was driving. He was doing dry January. I think that was all in all with the sausage rolls. I think it was like £12.50.
Wow. Oh, okay. All right. And who did they play again? Leicester.
Leicester played Crystal Palace.
And so, what were all the Palace fans sitting in front of you in the home end in their Palace colours? How were they conducting themselves sitting in the home end? Did they have any ag or stewards or?
They were sat in their own section because they were quiet as out until they scored, and then they came alive because all you could hear was the Leicester chorus in the corner, and then everyone starting to join in. Maybe because we were quite close to the pitch, it sort of just bounced around a little bit. It was good. I don't know what experience you're having.
I'm a bit confused by this because, of course, I'm being facetious, but it's a very pertinent subject this week because Sky have a new program on their channel called The Boardroom, whereby Sky, and actually one of the hosts is our owner, a gracious owner, David Sullivan's son, Jack Sullivan, along with another cohort. actually interviews chairmen and women of football clubs at the moment, mainly Premier League, where they give them a little, give the viewers a little look behind the scenes at the boardroom. And Karen Brady, Baroness Brady, who some of you might know as the sour-faced old tart from The Apprentice, has been on this week, and she has pissed me and a lot of people off. Now, I asked you about your match day experience because I think you got some pictures from a video that we took some screenshots from, and we just want to make sure we credit the fella from Twitter, was it? From X?
Chris Mills. Yeah, Chris Mills from X.
So I don't know Chris personally, but we're going to use some of his screenshots. So credit to Chris Mills. You can search him on Twitter. And also, I'm going to reference a video that encapsulates what we're talking about perfectly. And that's a fella called Johnny K, and you'll be able to find him on TikTok. So the link for both things will be down in the description, so you can take a look for yourself. So I recently was over in England, and I was really excited to take, because my kids have obviously been indoctrinated in our family's team. It's our local team. Like not all of us like pick a team that are winning that's like 3 hours away, Fraser. You know, not all of us do that. Some of us are born into it. Yeah. By the way, go on. You go on.
Hamilton, Glasgow is not 3 hours away from Liverpool. So we have less of that.
Hamilton Academicals, is it? Yeah. Just a quick thing. Just a little quick thing. I've got to call you out on this quickly. I've had a message before we get into the match day experience and the problems over at West Ham. I've had an anonymous whistleblower send me a message and tell me some information.
Yeah.
Right. And this anonymous, unnamed person that I'm not gonna grass up, informs me. He said, "Here, you'll love this." I said, "Go on, what's that, Greg?" But I won't tell you who it is. But I was like, "Yeah, go on, what's that, Greg? Tell me, right?" And then the anonymous person said, "Oh, mate," he said, "take it from me, Greg North," right? And I was like, "Right, well, but I won't tell you." So the anonymous person, I said, "Go on, Greg, go on." And he said, Fraser has not always supported Liverpool. In fact, he supported another team first, but then he kept crying when they were losing. So he decided to pick. Well, one of them, I said, was one of them Leicester? And he went, "That's not the one," right? And I was really surprised when I found out who the other one was. But man like Beanie might be quite happy about it.
He'd have loved it, man like Beanie. When I was back in the day.
When we spoke about it, me and the anonymous tipster, and we decided it was because of your secret love for Ian Hart. I think that's what it was. No, but I think you knew it was coming.
Big Tony DeRigo.
Is that what it was? Tony DeRigo.
No, you know what it was? Before that, so in our family, like me and my brother Jerome were the ones that mainly played football. Greg started a bit later than us. He was a Man U fan. So automatically I was like, oh, my brother supports Man U, so I must support Man U. When it comes to the opinion, like, right, I can make my own mind up now, how about get fucked? Pretty much, right? And then my teacher when I was at primary school was from Leeds. Caroline Evans, she was a hockey player, so apparently ex-professional hockey player as well. And she supported Leeds. So that was it, like an influential teacher who was into sport. Right, I must support Leeds then. So I had the Leeds Tony Bow one with the collar on. And then it was one day Jerome had pissed me off. I was like, you know what? Get fucked. Like, support Liverpool. Fuck you. And that's it. Ever since stuck that. Yeah, just to spite him. And then for 15, 20 years, he won every league. So couldn't really be a glorious war. It's only now we've always been competitive, but now we're a little bit more successful. It was before. Then it just things sort of fell into place. Liverpool won the league the year I was born. The way Liverpool approach football is a club is sort of my sort of like how I am, especially when I'm playing football. I'm competitive, even though I'm a defender. I like to attack. I like to go forward. And you just sort of, when something just you can drive a car, but you can not be a BMW fan, and then you can drive one BMW. Think, actually, you know what? This is a bit of me, and that's pretty much how it was. Best way to describe it.
Yeah. Leaving behind Lucas Radebe and everything.
Lucas Radebe was the reason why I played defence. That's what it was. Lucas Radebe, big filming singer. Yeah.
Does Beanie know this? Does Beanie know the history with that?
Beanie don't know this. Beanie does not know.
Oh, Beanie.
You know what? He's never asked. Never even asked.
Wow. I don't know how he's going to feel about that. Well, anyway, with it being in the news this week, a lot with West Ham and the Karen Brady, she's sitting there taking the credit. She said multiple things in this interview that were just bollocks. One of the things she said is, "Oh, we've got the cheapest, yeah, we got the cheapest season ticket in the league." Yeah, while that's true, at 345, it's probably the worst seat in the league. Way up in the gods, you need a respirator to get to your seat and back again. You know, not everybody's capable of getting up there and back. We've also got some of the most expensive seats, depending on what band you're in. Look, there's loads wrong with the stadium. Another thing she said, because we're 62,500 capacity at the moment, a big portion of that is season tickets, pre-sold season tickets. So that doesn't mean, because we sell out every week, it doesn't mean that the stadium's at capacity every week. There may be 50,000 there, and there may be 12,500 not there, but their tickets have been sold, so they've got the money, so it counts in the attendance. There's so much wrong with it, it's unbelievable. She sat there saying this is why we get 35,000 families able to go every week. How does that work then? Where's the maths there? So I think she meant 35,000 people along with family members or whatever. So anyway, it's just caused a whole shitstorm, and now the videos and the promises and the lies are starting to resurface from 2016, when us as fans were pitched and sold this dream, which had turned out to be a nightmare. And having gone over there a few times and experienced it, it is fucking dreadful. So before we go through these snapshots, these screenshots, and elaborate a little bit more, my last experience was, just to run through briefly, I went with my two kids. Like I said, we've been indoctrinating them since they've been born into I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles and singing the songs. And, you know, I used to tell them that, you know, I used to go over to Upton Park, the bowling ground, and like Beanie says, really intimidating place. He sang all the songs and all the chants for the players, and you know, they especially Ronnie, my little boy, he learned all the words to the songs. They were really excited for singing Bubbles. I'd shown them videos of the fans singing Bubbles at Upton Park, and when the music cuts out and everybody joins in as a family, fortune's always hiding, you just feel like, oh, like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you just feel like part of something, and you feel alive. It was nothing like that. So first of all, it was a journey down to Stratford. The stadium is set back in the Elizabeth Park, so it's a good 25-minute walk from the station to the ground. So that's quite a lot with small children anyway, and Ronnie was only 9 the last time we went, so which was a couple of months ago. So that was a lot for him walking through. There's a great big shopping centre, Westfields, next door, whereby West Ham fans and football fans in general are thoroughly not welcome. Thoroughly not welcome. You think they'd want the trade? You'd think they'd want you in there to buy food and drink and shop, especially anyone in colours. Security guards just won't let you in there. You're not welcome. There are no little places or stalls and stands and vendors. My experience of going to the bowling ground at Upton Park was getting out of Forest Gate station or walking up from where I used to live, walk down Green Street, everybody singing in unison. The chants are already beginning as you walk down the street. People are coming out of their houses. People have got their flags out in their living room, in their front room. There were vendor sellers selling badges, selling programs over land and sea, or other. The smell of the onions from the hot dog stands, you know, past Ken's Cafe and Bobby Moore's old sports shop, and you walk past, and you know, you felt like a part of something. This was a very sanitized experience. A long walk up to the park. When you get there now at the London Stadium, you're herded in like sheep with a security check that, although probably necessary in this day and age. I mean, did you go through any particular security checks at Leicester?
As you got through the gate, every now and again, they might randomly just want to get patted down. That's it. No metal detectors or anything like that.
No, so this is, we'll elaborate when we go through the screenshots. This is every single person gets stopped, and a really lethargic wave with the wands. You could be concealing anything. An unnamed friend of mine actually came straight from work once and still had a screwdriver in his pocket and didn't realise, and he got let in with that. But they will stop you if you've got sandwiches for the kids, and they will stop you taking a bottle of water inside. right? And they will take the lids off your water. Or if you've got like a container with you that's your own bottle and you've maybe got a coffee in it or a water in it, they'll remove your lid. And the reason for that is so that you can't make it into a missile. We'll come on to that in a minute about the separation of fans and away fans anyway. We went in the very cold clinical, before we got to the concourse, we walked in. There were stands and stalls and vendors in there. I went up, I got a cheeseburger, my son got a cheeseburger, my daughter got a burger with no cheese. The woman gave us that and said to me, £52, please, for 3 burgers, 2 with cheese, 1 without. Paid for that, and then the kids, of course, said, Daddy, we're thirsty. So I said, well, let's go somewhere else because it's really expensive. So we went in the concourse, we queued up for an age, lethargic staff standing there that they don't give a shit and they don't want to be there. Took them forever to pull a beer. I got a beer, Ronnie got a Fanta Orange, Abby got a water. That was £32 for a beer, a water and a Fanta Orange. I'm already best part of 80 quid in, and that's without the tickets to travel, anything else. You know what kids are like, half time when he was like, I'm hungry again, can we get something else? There weren't really things like pies and stuff. I don't know if they do sell them, but there was the smell of the popcorn from the tourists sitting 2 seats down from us, eating their salted popcorn, not at the theatre, not at the cinema, sitting there eating their popcorn, sitting in their away colours in their shirts. And the stewards don't give a shit because they're contracted out by the London Legacy Department that own the Olympic Stadium, as opposed to being West Ham fans like at the Boleyn. And a bloke near us said, you've got away fans in there, you're not going to chuck them out? And they said, oh, we're told not to confront them, not to approach them. As long as they're not causing trouble, they can stay. Right? That's that. So we spent a fortune. Then, of course, we're all excited. We're excited for Bubbles. The music starts to play. We stand up, we're singing. Everybody, and I'm not saying this is all fans, everybody in the section we were in is looking at us like we've got 2 heads. So we start singing for the first 10 minutes and we're trying to get a song going. We're trying to do all the songs and cheer the players on and come on, you Irons. Everybody's just sat down, you know, and the kids are looking at me like, this is not what you described. This is not the family feel. This is not the buzz of all the songs. Now, I sing for a living and I'm not a shy person. But after 15 minutes of trying to get songs going and trying to join in, I even shrunk and I sat down and I started bothering. Now, the match was the day after Michael Antonio had his car crashed his Ferrari. At the time, we were still waiting for news. We didn't know how bad it would be, whether it would transpire that he'd broken both his legs. But at the time, it was he going to live or die? So there'd been a thing on social media that at the 9th minute for number 9, we were going to sing in full voice in unison as fans for our all-time Premier League record goal scorer, Michael Antonio. Antonio, 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 Antonio. We were going to sing a rousing version that Michael might hear from hospital and know that all the fans are with him. I'm going to play you a quick 40-second clip of what happened, and this was about as loud and raucous as it got this time.
There's a pocket of fans trying to get Antonio's song going, right? Fuck all. You're singing and people look at you like you've got 2 fucking heads. Flat as a pancake. This is not what I remember. Look. Antonio, just me.
Like what? So we went on to win. It was Wolves actually. We played. We went on to beat Wolves. Nothing against people that want to take in a Premier League game. The Japanese tourists in the section below us left on the 70th minute after taking all their pictures, and we saw them later in the club shop. The Wolves fans wearing their colours free to the right of us left on about the 80th minute when they were 2-0 down, if memory serves me right. We waited for the crowds to die down. left the stadium, whereby you've got about an hour journey back to Stratford or back to the station, because as you're all herded out, lollipop ladies stand there with their stop and go signs, and they stop you for 10, 15 minutes. They do. They stop you for 10, 15 minutes at a time to let the crowds die down for people to go. Now, this is meant to be the best transport links around and another thing for the move. You would have noticed the big gaps in the concourse between the home and away fans. Just a quick thing, we wasn't that end, but next to the away fans last season, there is a big gap between the home and away fans. You couldn't get to each other if you wanted to. There's a gap there, and the purpose of the gap is for ambulances to come through in an emergency. So, I mean, it's as big as an ambulance could get through your away. They've now put a big plexiglass partition between the home fans and the away fans in case anybody throws a missile, right? Which has not happened, rarely happens, yeah? And so now you can't even have banter and back and forth with the home fans. No atmosphere left there. It took us 55 minutes to get back to Stratford. Of course, everybody's on the platform. The trains are packed. The kids are tired. It's freezing cold. You know, with the tickets and the day out of the travel, it cost me the best part of 250 quid, perhaps more, for a shit day with a win, with no atmosphere, no songs. Did not teach my kids a single thing about the West Ham way, the West Ham community, what their family were born into. Just nothing like the match day experience that you've just told me about Leicester. No singing section. And there is so much wrong. It's absolutely fucking criminal, mate. The club is dead.
Mate, that just seems crazy. Like, crazy to think, right? I've had better experiences watching Sunday league games. Like, our Sunday league game, we used to have a team on our estate called Multiple Wasps, and we would have literally like 50, 60 fans. They would literally plan out, they'd go out and have a few beers, not go mad because, Wobblies are at home tomorrow. So they could come down, side of the pitch, have a couple of beers, watch the game. We'd go and shower, have a couple of beers in the club. It was banter. We'd get abused. We used to have Donkey of the Day. If you were Donkey of the Day, you had to wear the Eeyore costume. You had literally a full Eeyore costume. Top bands, good days out. We've even given the Eeyore costume to a fan once just because he was fucking being annoying. Like, just proper bands. So what you described there, to me, that seems like a laboratory experience. That's sort of something like a tourist attraction that someone's basically put together who's never experienced the football atmosphere. That's my impression from what you said.
I'll tell you from that. Before I elaborate on what you said there, the spot on, what did you make of that crowd singing, chanting Antonio video, which was meant to be a rousing song in support of Antonio? What do you make of that?
So a rousing support for, no matter how you look at it, a club legend. Like even if you just compare to like a Premier League West Ham legend for what he's done. He brought in as a right back, been at the club, grafted, worked under all these managers in his year record, Premier League, got top goal scorer. It was pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Like that's, to me, that's the sort of shit that gives you. If I went to that sort of game and then I find out, why were the few of them singing that? Oh, because their players had a car crash and you didn't know if he was going to live or die, and you just wanted to do something to support, and that's what you offer him. Right, great. That's to me the impression I'll get. That's shit fans. But knowing a lot of West Ham fans, that atmosphere does not attribute to the West Ham fans I speak to.
No. But those West Ham fans, and it's interesting because it's a sanitised experience now. We spoke before about Brady calling us customers and not fans. We've spoken about that. They would rather not have fans like me there. They would rather sell my ticket or season ticket holder friends of mine. They'd rather not have you there. They would rather sell a ticket to a Korean tourist because those people will spend more on the day and spend more money on merchandise in the club shop than your loyal fan base. But what it makes for this atmosphere now, when we migrated to that stadium in 2016, 50 season tickets were sold, which were classed as legacy fans. So the first season in that stadium. The latest reports have shown of those 50,000, 29,500 of those fans have walked away.
So, right. The thing is, it seems crazy to me to look at, especially when we've had conversations about some of the things that the West Ham board have done, like putting offers in for players, knowing full well they're not going to accept the offer. Why are you doing it? It's all for show pony. It worked so long ago that West Ham were too good to go down, but they went down. So imagine now if you alienate all these loyal fans and they go down. Not being funny, these international tourists ain't coming to.
No, you'll be an empty, soulless bowl in the Championship. That's where you'll be.
And then what's to say that you couldn't do a Birmingham? Birmingham were filling their stadium still, and now look at them, they're in League One. Yeah, the top of League One. Stuart Marlowe would be a good one to get on here. He knows his football. He's a Birmingham fan. I see him post football stuff all the time, and he's a die-hard blue. But that's just crazy to think. Imagine you being a fan of, say, Wrexham, right? Wrexham were in the get to the Championship. West Ham would get relegated. Right, West Ham are the big team. We're having them, and you turn up to that atmosphere, but take away the fans that have come from all over the shop that don't get involved, so it looks empty. You imagine having to close down two sides. That's ridiculous. If that ever happened, I don't see it coming back. That's one of them where the clubs would just drop and just before you know it, the financial ruin. Like doing a Bury or doing when it came with Notts County and all that money. Like that's obviously a worst case scenario, but I don't understand as a business owner and two successful business owners, how are you looking so short-sighted? Surely long-term gains are better than short-term. I would much rather have £50 every month than there you go. There's 150. Cheers for the year. No, give me the long-term. It's too short-term. I don't get it.
So let's dive into what we spoke about at lunch. You said to me, with all the money they should be saving on the stadium, that being West Ham ownership, not actually owning the stadium, but renting it, a peppercorn rent, which is as cheap as at one point it was 2 million. I think it goes up incrementally a little bit, but it was 2 million a year. And you said to me, so I'm guessing the owners will put all the money they've saved running the stadium, and that's all going into a pot to put a deposit on either buying the stadium and adapting it, or on a new stadium. Absolutely not. They're pleading poverty. And what you said about the atmosphere and the experience is it seems like a branded sort of packaged business thing. That's exactly what it is. So Brady calls us customers instead of fans. They changed our badge. Yeah. They moved us from our spiritual home and sold us a dream, which is total lies. The brand she's put, we're East London and we're proud to be East London. There's obviously rivalry between East London and South London traditionally. The lot over in North London, we're not big fans of, and they're not big fans of us, but it's territorial, right? Especially for, and fans of West Ham are all over the world now. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but like Beanie would tell you, and I would be interested in his take on this because he's been to that experience. He's experienced what I've experienced as a match day, and he's also been over to Boleyn Ground up to Park. But the territory's a thing, right? We are East London. I'm proudly a Cockney. I'm proudly an East Londoner. Do you know what I mean? I was born in Forest Gate, like just up the road from the ground. It's all my family. She changed it and called us West Ham London because she said it was better for branding. Basically like London, Paris, Milan on the side of the fucking Trotters Independent Traders three-wheel van in only fools and horses. Look, our ground is gone. Our badge has changed. A lot of the fans and the old school fans are now walking away from it. We're overtaken with tourists, which there is a place for. There's no singing section. You can't get an atmosphere. The transport links are lousy. Oh, a separate thing. The reason things are so expensive is because we don't own the stadium, so therefore we don't control the catering. Right, so it's actually in the terms of the contract, the 99-year lease, we sub out the catering to an American company called Delaware North. Delaware North set the prices of the food and drink. Yeah, we're going to show a steal in a minute, which we'll come on to, so we won't do it now. The beers are 6, 7, 8 quid, whatever they are now. They are some of the most expensive in the Premier League. There's actually a clause in the contract with them that's been disputed since the picture we're going to show. And that was that they need to be in line with other London clubs. So there's actually a court case going on at the moment about bringing the prices down. So we're actually being ripped off, and then we don't take any of the revenue from any food, drink, or anything like that. It's an absolute calamity. We spoke earlier on about another episode we might do about eventually you said you think we'll have breakaway teams like an AFC Wimbledon, but a whole league of breakaway teams. I don't feel like this is the West Ham I grew up with. Yeah, and we have sold our soul for a soulless bowl. It wasn't built for purpose. It's not a football stadium. It's an athletics track. Yeah, we are AFC West Ham. You know, because we are the Stratford Rangers. Do you know what I mean? We were joking when Red Bull were looking at buying us. They'll probably come in, change the colour of our strip, and we'll be Stratford Red Bulls. Do you know what I mean? I'll be Stratford or something because we're desperate to get rid of this ownership. They've fucked every single bit about what was our history. You know, like I was going to say, the state, we were offered a chance when we put the Olympic bid in to future-proof the stadium, and they asked for a contribution from West Ham so that we could maybe have a 50-seater stadium that would be, for the long term, a cheaper rent, right? We had Barry Earn talking about wanting it for Leyton Orient, and we had Daniel Lee talking about wanting it for Spurs, but when they saw it, they both dropped out, so there was no competition there. We decided not to put anything in because we decided we didn't want it. Interestingly, Brady Gold and Sullivan had Birmingham. Birmingham was meant to be one of the places for the Olympic bid. They would have done the exact same thing to Birmingham when they owned them. When London got the Olympics, they got rid of Birmingham, sold Birmingham to a crook, by the way, and were arrested for that. They came over and bought West Ham like they were some saviours coming in, saving us from administration. All the time with one eye on, excuse me, all the time with one eye on, getting in that Olympic stadium, yeah, and doing what they've done and not giving a shit about the history of the club. We did a future-proof the stadium. The stadium is in a bad state of disrepair, right? The roof is falling down. It was a temporary structure built and meant to last. It's a prefab arena for the athletics. It wasn't meant to be there in 50 years' time. Yeah, so it's in disrepair. Now there's an argument over everything. The running track that was meant to have the retractable seats on to be closer to the pitch, we were promised, never ended up materialising. There's a big athletics track on there. We had to write to the LLDC, the London Legacy Department, who were part of the Olympic Committee and owned the stadium. We had to write to them, could we put a claret carpet over the running track to make it more like home? The funny thing is, when you go on the tour, it's Delaware North that do the tour. A couple of things sprung out to me. As you walk in to start the tour, on the right are West Ham's offices. On the left are the LLDC's offices. They've got such a bad relationship with each other. All their communication is via lawyers, solicitors. They can't even communicate about states of things like the roof. I said to you today, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking. I said to you today, we went and looked at the changing rooms, and my little boy was over them and have his picture taken with Bowen's shirt peg and whatever, right? It wasn't what I would expect a Premier League dressing room to look like in this fancy stadium, right? Then we came out of there and we walked down the tunnel. And then just on the right of the tunnel, just before you reach the mouth of the pitch, there was another changing room. And we were let in there, and it was enormous. And it was fantastical and bright, and had TVs in there, and it had MLB on the floor, Major League Baseball. And that better dressing room, yeah, is owned by Major League Baseball because they come over a few times a year to play. So that's got chill out lounges, warm up sections, right? But your home team can't have that dressing room because it's been subbed out because we don't own the stadium. It's a fucking calamity, mate. And the soul of our club's gone now. Now, this week, there's other things we'll get onto about the concession prices. They're now removing concessions for OAPs, yeah, older people. If I was still in England and I wanted to take Ronnie and Abby and get a season ticket, there's no child concession anymore. They would have to pay the full price, same as me, for kids. There's no, same as OAPs that have been going there 60 years now. They've removed their concessions, and they've removed concessions for the disabled. This week, they've decided they're going to do ticket. We're probably might be all right for relegation, but we're 16th or something at the moment with Arsenal to play and some tough games, and we don't look very good and loads of injuries. They're choosing this time to do early season ticket renewals for next year with a price increase. I mean, there's a lot for you to unpack there while I'm on a ramble.
What a club! You know what it sounds like, right? This is to me. If I change this, right? Let me switch it around. me and you as owners have just bought we've just bought a nightclub, right? What we've done before, you know what? We're going to buy this nightclub. It's a successful nightclub. It's not the best in the world, but it's successful where it's, you'd look at it and think people, if they come to that area, right, we want to go there, right? They've got loyal customers that have been coming for years because they're nostalgia. There's offers where, listen, we have OAP nights and we have bingo and we get a good turnout. We have kids parties and stuff in the daytime, we get good turnout. And then we have nights where we have the younger crowd, the medium crowd, like the 30, 40s and that. It caters to everyone. And what we've gone, right, you know what? Let's scrap that and we'll take away the kids stuff. What we're going to do gambling. Right, we're going to do some betting in there. What we're going to do is we're going to sell this area and we're going to move it just a bit further down, where it's a bit more of a walk, but it's better for us because it's cheaper rent, right? Because we don't have to own it. We just pay rent on it now.
You're out of town centre now.
Yeah,
we're already up some clubs now.
Yeah, we're a bit further away. And then what we're going to do, these tables and chairs, which everyone likes and comfortable, we're going to get rid of them, right? Because they're expensive to fix and maintain. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring these shitty plastic ones in that we get from the brewery. We're going to smash them bad boys in. And then what we're going to do, we're going to change the beers. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll sell the rights to the beers and someone else can bring the money in. And then we won't even hire the staff. We'll just literally own it. And then we'll just take the money. That, in any other business, would be called stripping of assets. That's what it sounds like happening.
And your door team of bouncers and doormen, going from people that knew everyone in the community, knew people in the area, had a bit of respect. You get rid of them, you put in some really aggressive door team, and you dress them all up, and this happened in black cargo pants, built like British shit houses, black t-shirts on, black gloves, like UFC style gloves. And what you do is when people stand up to sing, you grab them and physically chuck them out, which is exactly what happened with us. So let's go through the pictures and go on. What was the gentleman's name we took these screenshots from?
Chris Mills.
So some of this would have been touched on. Let's go with the first one, please. And we'll go through it. So
he's just explaining, in 2016, West Ham fans were sold a dream on the back of the GSR lies. So basically, what was going to happen with the stadium?
So that's GSB. That was Gold, Sullivan, and Brady. So obviously, there's no Gold now. He's passed away. So you'll see GSB in different parameters. So we were sold. We would have a world-class team in a world-class stadium. The seats would be retractable seating that would go. That's exactly the one. World-class team in a world-class stadium. The seats would go right up to the touchline, right up to the sideline. There would be no further away than Upton Park. It would be the cheapest tickets in the league, so that it was affordable for people in the local community to take their families there. We were moving there to enable to have success. And before anybody puts in the comments, West Ham won the Europa Conference. The Europa Conference wasn't even a thing when this was on the table, and we won a third rate, and it was one of the greatest nights of my footballing life. But it was a third rate competition designed for teams that didn't have a chance of winning. One team from England, one team from Spain, one from Italy. You got teams from Greece and Turkey and places, that are not, have a rich tapestry in trophy winning in Europe. Our squad was more expensive than the rest of the teams in the Europa Conference all collated together. So we should have won that. And let me just add as well, we qualified for that coming 8th. There's 20 teams in the league. That's more than third. So and we finished in the top 8 several times at Upton Park. So that was absolutely no part of moving to the London Stadium. So the next still.
Next one is about the bouncers, the door stuff you just mentioned.
So that's what they did. They subbed out again because it wasn't West Ham over the years. You got to know the stewards in your section, in your block. You got to know them to say hello to. A lot of them were from the local area. A lot of them were West Ham fans. They were told you can't watch the game or whatever. They would sneakily be there for free watching the game. You'd have a chat. If there was an issue, to come over and talk to you. They got rid of that and put in a militant style army of MMA fighters is what they actually did, to stop people standing up to sing, and people were manhandled. But all the while, you're allowed to be an Arsenal fan sitting in your Arsenal kit, cheering when the 5th goal goes in. Over the Boleyn, there were sometimes places and communities rule themselves, and I'm not condoning it, but many a time I've been at Upton Park, and if there was an away fan in that end, sorry mate, they're getting fucking filled in. You know what I mean? They're in trouble. If you're in the opposition team's end and it's made known that you're from the other side, you're getting a punch in the mouth and you're getting chucked out by the punters, by the people.
You see, with that one, I get the idea of it, but I refer that one to more rugby, right? I've been to away games. Now, I'm a big believer in like you will get what you set out. So to me, with football, especially football, the standards are set. You don't mingle with the away end, right? I'll go back to Beanie with there. I don't mind a bit of needle. Love a bit of needle. Why can't you have that section? Don't go around. I still believe you should have like your cop, your ultra area, your main fans, but there should be no issue with certain mixes. However, on the flip side of it, you can't just do it for one. It has to be all. So if the whole of football is not going to do it, then not one of you. So I agree with that part where you say, but if you're an away fan, and I want to go and support my team. So if I went to Liverpool West Ham with you, right, and I was in the West Ham end, you know I'm a West Ham fan, a Liverpool fan. Everyone around me won't know I'm a Liverpool fan, but if Liverpool score, there's no chance I'm cheering. There's no chance I'm cheering. Because it's like going into someone else's house and dissing their food. Like
it's out of respect. Yeah, it's out of respect. That's what it is.
So I get that, especially if you see them cheering. Like, what are you doing? Like, listen, if you want to be here, support your team, fine. Shut the fuck up. Take just under your breath. That's it. No, you don't need to get up and cheer and fucking give it the big licks, because then you might get kicked down a set of stairs. Like, simple as that. But it's just, to me, it's respect. If you're in someone else's house, you act to someone else's rules. That's my opinion. Yeah. But I don't have an issue with that. But when you say about the atmosphere in the stadium, maybe it is because of the atmosphere. It ain't intimidating them from. Like, whatever. They're not even fucking singing for their own player. What they're going to do to me? That's cheer fucking Fulham scoring.
Yeah, well, a lot of the hardcore fans have gone that. So it's hard to get an atmosphere with people that are either neutrals or opposition fans. I said to you, a friend of mine, he's got 3 Chelsea supporters in his office in Liverpool Street, and they've all got season tickets because the season tickets were cheap. So they turn up when it's West Ham Chelsea, and they sit in the home end and cheer on Chelsea. Or if they fancy a day out, they go out and they've got the money to go and have a few beers and watch a Premier League game. Those seats could be proper West Ham fans. What are you going to do if you've got opposition fans sitting there, you've got tourists sitting there? How are you supposed to get an atmosphere? The stadium doesn't keep the sound in. It's so disjointed, the big gaps. With this scaffolding all over parts of the ground, which I think we'll come to later on. So what's the next picture? So ineffective ticketing system that causes huge queues at the turnstile. So not only are you walking 25 minutes from Stratford Station, not welcome in Westfields in the shopping mall and with the restaurants and that. There is a fan zone over there, which is like a big glass greenhouse sort of thing, where I went in once and had a £7.80 beer in a paper cup with nowhere to sit, and then walked back over to the park. To be balanced, the pre-match event, the West Ham way, is a cracking way to spend your morning before the match, and the walk from there, which is only 5 minutes down the canal, down the Thames from Hackney Wick. There are some stands down there, but it is still like 10, 12, 15 quid burgers. So, for a family, it's not cheap. But then, you go through, you queue up at the security. They wave you down with a wand. It takes an age to get through. You finally get through. And then you go up to the turnstiles, and they took away everyone's season ticket like a little credit card that you put in the slot like a cash point, pulled it out, and the turnstiles open. They took that away, and they've demanded that you go on your phone with QR codes. Now, the technology has not been refined yet, so many a time you're queuing up, anxious to get in, it's cold. People try to scan their QR code, it doesn't work. Try again, doesn't work. Come on, mate. Oh, sorry, my thing won't work. Then you're bustling back through people to go to the ticket office to get a ticket printed out to go back and do it again. Older people don't necessarily have smartphones. My granddad, if he was still around, would know what he was doing with that. And some of them requested, because we don't know what we're doing, we don't have a smartphone, can we please just have a ticket like a credit card? I can take out my wallet. No. It's all going digital now. So now you've got massive queues of security, massive queues to get in the turnstiles. Half the time their technology don't work. Friend of mine Gatesy, you know Gatesy. He couldn't get to weren't expected to get to a game the other day, so he had an adult and a child's ticket. So he gave away to a friend on the Hammers Chat patron who took his kid down there. They went there. As it turned out, Gatesy did go with another mate and sat somewhere else, not in his usual seat. He sent him the ticket, sent him all the details, and the bloke messaged him 5 minutes before kickoff. It won't work. So Gatesy was like, "You're joking." So Gatesy had to get up, go down, try it on his thing, still didn't work. Walk all the way round to the ticket office, explain to them, managed to get tickets covered, came back. Mate, Brentford scored after 6 minutes. He missed the only goal of the game. Walking around there, and so did the people that was bringing their kid for the experience. Chris, you know?
So, you know what? With that, I just think, so with my job, right? So I work in a bank at the minute. We do a thing called LDA, which is limited digital access. If you as a customer don't have digital access to do it, we will go out of our way to make sure that we do the best. Yeah, by all means, we try and encourage you to do digital if you can. But if you say to me, listen, I like to speak to people, absolutely fine, Michael, let me do it for you. If there's none of this, like if I say, well, you need to do it online. No, it's, I want to do it with you. Or I don't really like doing it. I don't trust it, whatever. I don't want to do it this way. It's just a faff. Why the hell are you turning down your fans, not customers, fans? If we're treating our customers better than you're treating your fans, people that see you as the, I mean, I'm not being funny. I won't even mention what bank it is I work for. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with a banking tattoo. I've seen a lot of West Ham tattoos, so a lot of Liverpool tattoos. So what is, I don't understand this whole situation of what, if it ain't broke, why are you trying to fix something? Because all you're going to do now, you're ostracizing these fans. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to buy a subscription. I'll watch the game at home. You know what, actually? Leighton Orion's down the road. I love my football. I just want to go and watch football. I'm just going to go and watch them. Why are you losing fans?
So many have, mate. So many have. I know so many people that have walked away, won't go back, give up their season ticket after being there 20, 30, 40 years. Would rather go and watch Sunday League, go and watch Hornchurch, go and watch Dagenham and Redbridge. You know, rather than go through this. They don't give a shit about the fans. They don't give a shit about the fans. What's the next still, mate?
Huge
okay, so
and security checks with no other stadium, like more checks than any other stadium.
So we've been through that, you know. You're tailed back for ages. You've already walked best part of half an hour to get there. Then you stop to be checked, and they're going to shake you down and take a bottle of water off your sandwiches that you took to give the kids, so that you spend money in there. Money of which the revenue they don't even get because it goes to Delaware North and privately subbed out. Now, even if we took over that stadium. Even if they, because this is the thing, the Newham, the borough of Newham is hemorrhaging, so between sort of 30 and 60 million a year in that stadium. We wouldn't even want it for free if they gave it to us because it needs so much work now. Apparently, the seating can't be redeveloped. Apparently it's toxic land underneath, so we couldn't even dig down and bring the seating closer. You're in the middle of a park detached from everyone else. You know,
so this to me goes back to why are you not? They're not. You as a West Ham owner. If I'm owning that club, right? If we own this nightclub and we found out, right? You know what it is, right? We've had a great idea. We're going to have an upstairs. We're going to have a silent disco, but downstairs we're going to dig down. We have an underground late night lock-in. We're going to do that. We look into it and go, actually we can't because it's toxic, and because now we found there's shitloads of work's going to do it. Now I'm saying to you, right? We need to start putting some money aside because we might have to move this again to a different area rather than getting fucked. Because if we get stuck to this and then something happens where they go, you know what, it's not in the contract, it's a environmental thing, we have to shut it down and do it. But I'm not paying for it and you ain't going to pay for it. So now where the fuck are you going to play? You ain't got the money to take us to court because you ain't going to get no income. So what are you going to do? Play all your games away?
But that's the standoff, mate. Because at some point, the borough can't sustain paying for this white elephant. It's what the Millennium Dome would have been if it hadn't been bought by O2 and become the O2 Arena. It was built for the Olympics. The Olympics are great. When that was over, we've moved in, but it's not been future-proofed. It's hemorrhaging money. We can't make any changes to it. We don't control the revenue of the food and drink. We've got a 99-year lease that our owners call the deal of the century. whilst not putting any money aside. We're not making that much more revenue money because of the price of the tickets. So having the extra people there that are not actually a great portion of them not actually West Ham fans anyway, you know, is not any financial gain. And they are paying a couple of million a year, and they're not really any better off, but they've sold all our history. Then, like the last shot, we're standing there for you know, dozens and dozens of minutes trying to get through security. You get through security, you pay 50 quid for 3 burgers, and then you're having trouble getting through the turnstiles, and you get in there and they're stood at the concourse. I mean, when me and the kids went last, and this has always been my experience, the minute the whistle blew for half time, we went straight down the stairs, had to get in the queue. By the time, they don't have pre-poured beers for the people coming in for refreshments at half time. By the time you get up there, you get, no. By the time, you can't have a beer at your seat, not even the plastic cup. So by the time you get there and you get your beer and you pay for your £7.80 beer, right, and then the kids' drinks, the second half's kicking off. And then so you've got to throw it or down it to run back up to your seat. So there's no social element, there's no half time. But it used to be, it was something like £8 or something over there, which was no, it was less than that years ago. But it was like a beer and a pie. You could go and get yourself a curry pie or a steak and kidney pie, nice big pucker pie and a beer. Do you know what I mean? You'd get that instantly. There was loads of pre-poured beers. You go out there, people are, you know, bang, 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 done. Have your pie, chat to your mates about the first half, because some of your mates might walk round from a different area, go back up there. That's another thing. I know you're waiting to speak, but when they migrated from the Upton Park, they didn't keep sections of fans together that have been going together. You get to know people, the bloke in front of you, the woman to the right of you, you get to know them. There's no singing section. They're talking about a fan group is trying to instigate that now and get that going. There's no seating people with their family and friends. In fact, I've heard horror stories about people saying there's like neutral fans here doing coke and being really aggressive and swearing. Can we move to sit with our family? Well, you'll have to pay full price over here, blah, 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 blah. And all sorts of stories I can tell you about that. But go on, what was you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, like, when Leicester's a 32,000 capacity stadium, right? We queued to get in, including security, for the turnstiles and everything. We queued for maybe 4 minutes, 5 at most. That was it, in, right? When we got a half time, beers were pre-poured. You, as a football fan, you know this is going to happen. If you, and the guys were sound, I said, is it okay if I get 2 fresh ones? Do you not mind waiting? Not an issue, I don't mind waiting. No issue, no problem, right? When I went to the darts, they had pre-poured pitchers. How the fuck are you sitting there going, it's a bit slow today, suddenly half time, oh, it's picked up, as if you didn't fucking know. Come on. Let's be real. I've worked a bar long enough. You've seen how bars work and bar staff work. That's basics. Absolute basics. Get enough pumps to get poured. It's not like they're going to sit there going, excuse me, mate, any chance of a mojito? Oh, yeah, of course, mate. Tell you what, let's do a daiquiri as well. Let me blend you up a daiquiri as well. Tell you what, I can't even blend one. Let me shake you a daiquiri. Come on, grow the fuck up a little bit.
I don't know. You might get orders like that, mojitos or fucking Pims with a bit of cucumber in from Tarquin and Agatha, who are over from West London, sitting in their fucking popcorn. It's a joke, mate.
Look at us with the common folk. Yes, I'll have a Pims and lemonade, please. Get back to Wimbledon. What's the next still? Next still is what we were covering off, the away fans being ignored in the home section. Like I said, I in certain areas, yeah, but you should have. You can't. I mean, I spoke about. I think we spoke about this together. I think you should have a certain thing as well where there is concessions for people from that area. Like I know you live in Tenerife now, but if you were living and your postcode was East London, you should get concessions as well because you are a local lad. Why the fuck would you not encourage your local fans to support your local club? Right, and instill that into the next generation. Because say, for example, say they don't, and you go, you know what? And you take your kid, I support Arsenal. Well, don't support Arsenal. Oh, yeah, Arsenal are winning. I have to take you to an Arsenal game. Now, Arsenal have got another fan, and then maybe 3 more when he's kids. When really, I'm going to take you to the West Ham game because we live here. They look after us, so we look after them in the long term. It's absolute basics of business. These are fucking successful business owners. How the fuck are they missing out on this?
With what I said about the concessions and not having a discounted ticket for a junior member, you know, if I want to take my 9-year-old and get a season ticket for him, it's full price like an adult. Like where, with this atmosphere, with the away fans, you could have a day trip a section. Look, I understand a couple of points. I understand people might want to come to London. They might want to take in a Premier League game. If me and you went to Madrid for the weekend, you know, we're going fancy going to Bernabeu. We're going to watch Real Madrid, right? We'll have to do that at some point and vlog the experience. But that's fine. I can understand that, and they're welcome. Also, there's people that are athletics fans that might want to come and see where the 2012 Olympics took place. You know, when you do the West Ham tour, not that there's anything to fucking do with West Ham. There's as much about baseball. They've got a bit of track where Usain Bolt broke the record. Like, I'm sure there's people that are into that. It's nothing to do with West Ham to me, but it happened there, so it occurred. So I can understand that, having a section for that. What was the other thing we were saying about? Oh, the next generation of fans. How do you bring through in 20 years or 10 years, like when we're gone and this hardcore have gone, but that's to their advantage, because the way they see it is there'll be a time when all the people in that stadium don't remember the match day experience at Upton Park.
Yeah.
So this is all you've got, so there's nothing to compare to. And so she said in the boardroom on Sky Sports, people don't like change. Sometimes change is for the better. Fucking is it?
Change can be for the better, but changing and stealing things from a club is not, which is basically what it sounds like is happening. Right. Look at some of the best football grounds to go to, right? Me and Beanie did one when you were in Germany about atmospheres and footballs. We covered up a couple of football stadiums. Why would you want to go to a Celtic Rangers game at Ibrox or at Celtic Park? Because the atmosphere, the needle. Why would you want to go to why do everyone want to go to the last Merseyside derby at Goodison? Why do people want to go to Anfield? Why do people, I know it's falling down now, but why do people want to go to Old Trafford, the Highbury?
Yeah.
Why do people want to go there? Because
St James's Park. Yeah.
The local fans create the atmosphere, right? So you need 70% of those to create an atmosphere. And you as a singer will understand this, right? This is the best analogy I can think of, right? Because I'm thinking bar work. It doesn't matter. You could have so many people in that bar which are willing to spend money, but it's a shit atmosphere. They'll go somewhere else tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if they come in, right, they might only be fucking shit drinkers. They might all be drinking pints. There's 70% of them. But the other 30% are like, fucking hell, he's banging here, because that mentality is there to enjoy themselves. I don't care if you're drinking pints, as long as you enjoy it and you're bringing something to the table. If you're bringing that atmosphere, the banter, the laughs, I see it. You probably see it from the front of the stage. I see when people are interactive. You've seen what I've liked when I've worked in bars with you. I always got eyes on what is going on. I know what's going on there. And you very rarely see any trouble when I work at a bar, because I'm already there. I smell it in the air. The nostrils. But with that, you see it. But other people can pick that up. They don't know why they're picking up that good atmosphere, but they are picking it up. They think, we'll go here again. We'll go here again. This is great. And then they go somewhere else and experience something different and be like, this is a bit shit. And I think this is what's going to happen in a few years' time. If you've lost 50,000 season tickets already that were given out, and 29,000 or 21,000 of them have already gone to
29.5. So nearly 30,000 out of 50 have given up.
Round it to a fifth, 30,000. 30,000 are gone. I guarantee there's still no football. And I guarantee you, I mean, the reason why my brother, we spoke about football games before, the reason why me and my brother still play EAFC or FIFA has been going downhill for years, but we love football. And that's why we do it. So they'll go and find somewhere to watch football, whether it be Sunday League, whether it be Dagenham, Hornchurch, Leyton Orient. Suddenly now you've lost these fans. Now the atmosphere, like you said, they don't know what the atmosphere is. They don't know how to create atmosphere, because they need leading. You haven't got the leaders to do it. The diehards, the West Hams, the Irons, they don't know that. Why are we called the Irons? What do you mean, why are you called the Irons? Oh, I'm just wondering why. Get out. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And that's where it's going to lead to. That's what I think. It's going to lead to something like that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. What's the next one? Nearly done, I think.
Next one, the worst match day experience for home and away fans in the Premier League.
So it's not just home fans like me saying it. You can go back and look at, again, when we spoke to Beanie, he said, you know, no disrespect, almost like he was going to offend me. Like, I used to go to the Boleyn, there was a bit of needle, you felt intimidated, it was exciting, you know, there was an atmosphere, there were songs going, you could have a little bit back, and you go to the Soulless Bowl, and we'll probably try and clip out from that episode what he thought about that, but it's just fucking dead duck, mate. So what's the next one?
I love that.
Because
We need to get a picture for a little bit of needle. Love that. The expensive food and drinks, you've explained it. It's not even them. Like how it's imagine running a bar, then hiring a subcontractor to come and do your food. Does it make any sense? And then you go, what do I get out of it? Well, you get fuck all. We're using your stuff. That is it. Cheers. Thanks. Cheers. All the best.
It's like buying a little bar like Calypso, like away from everything, and then letting Harry's come in and do the pricing.
Yeah. It makes no sense. If anything, what I was going to say is to me, if I'm coming in, right, and I'm a business, I'm thinking, right, you know what it is? Right now, people are buying food because they have to get food. Right, you know what I'm going to do? Why don't we just take the price down, take the quality up a little bit? Right, our margins ain't going to be as great, but what we're going to do, people are now going to plan to come food. Why do I want what's your capacity? You can go to what? It could go to 50...
Mate, 62 and a half now. Could go up again.
So 62 and a half. So your home fans, you've got 50,000. We'll go for the number of the season tickets. 50,000 of the home fans, right? What, 5, 6 of them are buying just because they have to. Tell you what, why don't we make it enjoyable, nice food? If you want pies and something they can grab on the go, let's do something they can grab on the go. Tell you what, look at Jet2 when you fly. You have the little pizza twisters things. You know what? We don't do it every game. We're not going to do the same food. We're going to mix it up for you to give you a reason to come and try it, and it's going to be ready. So when you turn up, can I have a beer? Oh, guess one of them. Bam, bam, bam. Boom, there you go. Ready for your beer. Now, I'm a foodie. I'm a fatty by choice, not by nature. If I know, West Ham, mate, they do them pies. Oh, they do them twisties. Oh, mate, I can't wait to get one of their bucket. I'm having 2. You're doubling what you're selling. It's basic business.
But that's what you get at places like Norwich and places that do like local produce and banging burgers and whatnot. You get the like Brentford and stuff. You know, you get these things. But like, you were talking about this afternoon about you might go in a bar and for a local bottle of beer you might get charged $6.50. You'll have one, but that's fucked them because you might have sat there, got in the vibe, sat there all afternoon, had another one, had a chat. You might have 5, 6 of them. Yeah, now it's one and done. So you've been greedy and short-sighted. And even the other thing is the fact that it doesn't go to West Ham. I think some people look. Let's take another analogy. People go year after year to Winter Wonderland at Hyde Park, and they moan about the prices, but their kids want to go, so they go. And you know, if you're going there, you know you're paying 14 quid for a pint and fucking 11 quid for an hot dog, right? Same at the pictures, you know, there's the old analogy about a bottle of water, right? A bottle of water is over here, especially, I don't know UK prices anymore, but it's like 50 cents or 50p in a shot. Yeah, it's a 150 if you have it in a restaurant. Yeah, it's 350 at an airport and a £5 on a plane. You know what I mean? Or a tenner in the desert. It depends on some people would suffer paying those prices for food and drink. If it's part of the day out, and some of that revenue goes to your club, which enables you to get new players, player wager, right? The situation, none of that goes to our club. We're already being told that we'll have to sell to buy anyone in the summer, right? We've got 7 players out of contract and there's no money available. The last listings came out with the 17th richest club in the world.
So how are you pleading poverty? Facts.
What's the next one? Can't be many more left on here. We spoke about that. So we'll brush through these. It's an hour-long affair. Getting out with the stop and go lollipop signs. We spoke about the attack on the concessions for kids, OAPs, and even the disabled. Mate, do you know what they did? They said after people protested, and this is another disgraceful thing. Let's say 50,000 season tickets go over there. Way more West Ham fans. Way more people in the area. I looked and there was a petition to save our concessions. 17,000 signatures they got to push because people are out for their fucking self, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's more people going there every match day.
Maybe they just know. Maybe they're resigns to the fact that we ain't going to change it. Maybe because as much as we can think like as fans, we can influence certain things. When it comes to like stuff like this, at the end of the day, it's a fucking business to them. And like I said at the start, it feels like they're stripping the club of everything they need. The soul is gone. Yeah. They've took the stadium. Imagine if I said to you, right, I'm going to sell my house in Tenerife, and then with the money, I'm going to give it to the estate agent, and I'm going to rent a place. You'd look at me like I had fucking 3 heads.
Yeah.
Is that not what they've done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this whole concessions thing, when there was a bit of a protest, a bit of a pushback, because the power is with the people. Because if everybody stood together and nobody turned up Saturday against Arsenal, Arsenal's away, but the week after, if nobody turned up, they'd soon notice, right? So there was a pushback on it. So do you know what they offered? They said, okay, you could still have your cheaper price seats if you're an existing season ticket holder. If you're not, and you want to move seats and sit somewhere else, it's full price. Same for you if you want to bring a kid or add a family member. But the disabled and the elderly, what we'll do is we suggest we'll have a section right up at the back in the gods. So my mate, stroke brother Paul, his dad's knocking 70, been a window cleaner all his life. West Ham diehard, all the family eyes, been going over there, all of them together. I mentioned before, 12 of them in that party that give up their season tickets. He's got 2 fucked knees. They're telling him, go and sit up in row Z at the top and you can have a discounted price. He couldn't even get up down there. He struggles to get up and down the stairs in his house. He's done his graft. He's worked hard. Do you know what I mean? He supported the club in every way. He's brought his kids up, indoctrinated in the club and the West Ham way. And now you've got to pay full whack despite being 70, or you've got to walk all the way up them stairs and down again at half time and up again. It's fucking criminal. Absolutely criminal.
It sort of seems like that's one of them. That sounds like some of the things they do with bidding for players. I know you ain't going to accept this offer, but I need to make it look like I'm doing something. I know you ain't going to pay for this. Yeah, it's empty gesture. Like, I know you ain't going to pay this because you can't go up there. Like, it just sounds like an absolute farce of how they're running it. It is, like I say, it sounds like they're stripping valuable assets of the club. And I'll tell you what, you've got a couple of valuable assets at the club now in regards to management and players. Look at how bad the recruitment's been in what we've said with Fulkrug, for one, and the scattergun approach for players. You ain't going to get anything back from Fulkrug.
When everyone was saying West Ham have won the transfer window, and I was sitting there going, we haven't, because these parts don't fit the puzzle, and I was told I was negative. You know what I mean? Look how we're 16th. You know what I mean? It's like, it hasn't worked, mate. Fulkrug's barely played. Guilherme's barely played.
You got Lopetegui. I bet he wasn't cheap to let go because he's former Spain and Real Madrid manager. Like, I bet he wasn't cheap to let go of his contract.
Rodriguez is slower than my nan. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so many. Somerville's injured long term.
Maignan, ain't he the goalkeeper for AC Milan? Yes.
Maignan,
then you've got but then you've got Lopetegui going out, right? You've got the director of football brought in all his staff. You've got players out of contract that you're going to get nothing back for. How do you replace? The deal with Todibo, which was classed as a big money signing, is a loan. You're not even paid for him yet.
So that's 40 million out of the summer budget accounted for.
Yeah. So then you've got who assets you've got, which are valuable assets you could probably sell. A couple of youth players, potentially.
Yeah. Kudus was 85. Kudus was valued at 85 million. His form's been so bad. You're not going to get anywhere near that for him now. Wan-Bissaka, I agree with my mate Gonzo in that if he had not had his big move, people would be in for Wan-Bissaka. The fact that he's been to Palace, gone to United, done what he's done, now come to us, I think insulates us a little bit from that. No?
Do you know who's going to come and buy him?
Go on.
What team would he fit into now? How he's playing for you, what team would he fit into?
Oh, not Spurs.
He'd fit right into United setup. Playing wing backs again. They've got Mazraoui there who can't defend. As decent as he's going forward, can't defend. Chelsea have done it. Chelsea have gone back and bought players they've sold. The state of United, you're telling me you don't... As we speak about it now, we don't believe that they go, you know what, we need a fullback who knows the league, who knows the system, who can play in this, and is athletic enough to do it. I'll tell you what, who fits that bill? Who can go and get? Wan-Bissaka. No. And that is... The thing is, when you say that out loud, it sounds ridiculous until you think about it. You know what? What if Amorim did that to prove I'm the fucking man around here? Who goes and buys a left wing back and his first game plays in right wing back? Unless you're trying to prove a point. Who refuses to change tactics unless you're trying to prove a point?
Yeah.
So that's an asset. Kudos is an asset. I think Bowen's like as an asset now to sell, probably gone to get the good money that you were talking about a couple of years ago when Liverpool was sniffing around him. You've got Paqueta. That's it. And then Potter.
He looks... Well, I don't know how closely you follow it. It came out last week in the news. There's a lot more evidence. And his uncle Bruno, under oath, came out and said that, yes, he decided to get a yellow card as a birthday present to his brother. And they put a large amount. Yeah. But then he gets a lot like that. He gets a lot of little fucking dodgy. So content is important. Just coming back to what you're saying, because I'm mindful of the amount of time. Is that all our still pictures done now? Or have we got any more left? Just to rattle through the rest of these. Yeah, so tourists are Blazing fans. Next one.
And then we need Brady out before West Ham gets destroyed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But when you're saying about assets tricking, right? Like, for what benefit? Like, no one's going to come in and buy that. They've got it valued at $2 billion. We don't even own our own stadium, right? If you bought a Ferrari and then you stripped the wheels off it and sold it, and then you stripped the fucking bodywork off it, and you stripped the gearbox, and you stripped it down so a bare thing sitting on a, like a crate up on bricks, like, it's not worth fuck all anymore, is it? Really? But, so why? What's the end game? Is my question.
Look at the money that's floating around now, right? Look at all these American investors that want to come over and take advantage of the Premier League. Elon Musk was on about buying Liverpool for close to $3 billion. Right? All I'll say, I'll flip it round. Have you ever owned a Ferrari? Don't be dissing me and my Ferrari then. Don't be slagging my Ferrari because it's got no wheels. I've got a Ferrari. I don't care if it don't work. I've got a fucking Ferrari. I own a football club. Doesn't matter. If there will be people out there that will want it. So I'll tell you, I reckon there'll be three people that will be interested in West Ham. Middle Eastern investors, because that means nothing to them. They will literally put the money in, buy the stadium, rent it out themselves to West Ham to always have an income. They'll use it for this is what, if I was a Saudi investor, I'd use it for like bringing over like Saudi games and bringing games like you got Ronaldo there, you got all these big players there. They'll be having games and friendlies at West Ham pre-season. I'd be doing it in England where the money is to create, and I'd buy the club. This debt not having a stadium works in my favour because I'll just buy land and I'll put it into the sovereign fund and I'll rent it to the club.
So without even knowing the circumstances, you bang on the money again because there's been Qatari interest from a Qatari group that want to buy it and do exactly that because the money and the value is in the real estate, the Olympic Park, the amount of flats and houses and things they can build around that area. Just a quick thing before I forget, because you won't know this either, and I have to be careful how I word this. When we sold the Boleyn, I can't remember the exact figures, and I don't want to quote and get it wrong, you would be absolutely shocked as to how much we sold our ground for. It's something ridiculous, something like nowhere near the value. Look, when you look into it, because we were told as well initially there was a bus garage behind, so we couldn't redevelop it like Newcastle are planning to do, like other clubs are planning to do. It was impossible for us to stay there, apparently, right?
Yeah.
We sold it at such a low price, but when you look into it, there's a mystery middleman, a mystery company, of which one of our owners was a board member, and it was flipped on. So it was sold for a certain price and then sold again back to back the next day for like 3 times the price, so that the people in the middle made a shitload of money out of it. What do you make of that?
that just sounds suspicious as fuck because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Like if you have what's at the Upton Park now, the Boleyn? What's there now?
Flats. So if I had another phone, I'll be able to show you because I saw a heartbreaking picture the other day that was the Boleyn in like 2015, and now there's flats there. And to be honest, obviously it's a London postcode. It's close to like central London rail links and whatever. It's a shithole, mate. Really, to be honest, but it was our shithole. But it's a shithole. There's 2-bedroom flats going there for 400 grand. Flats, you know, there's 3-bedroom flats.
Say, the price of flats in London doesn't make any sense.
3-bedroom flats, $500,000, 550,000, 600,000.
It's right. So that you know what, right? I've looked at this. I've been taking a few notes at the side, right? Before we finish on who am I? Got an easy one for you today. I expect you to get it. I've thought of a solution for West Ham to look at, right? So let's just cover off the Saudi thing first, right? So we've got the Saudi. I did say this 3. I don't want to leave people hanging. 3 things that you've got. The Saudi will look at it. You've got the fact that there will be a West Ham fan or a group of West Ham fans who have done well will try and chip in and do it, save the club themselves, right? That will be the other one I think he'll do. Or you'll get the Americans involved. The Americans will go and buy it, and then they'll host like Levy does it at Spurs, NFL games. Didn't get that. They're the 3. I think you'll look at to take over the club if that's why they're looking at it. Because regardless of whatever, if I've got the base for a Ferrari, I can fix the Ferrari. Money's no object to the Saudi fund. If I love Ferraris, and I've always loved Ferraris all my life as a kid, I don't care. I just want to own a Ferrari, and I'll do my best to make it work. If it's not the right wheels or it's not the right steering wheel, I'll do my best to put it together. That's a rich fan or a group of rich fans who have made success and might want to try and do it themselves. Or maybe even do like a fan thing, put something you can own part of the club. I mean, the value they're on about is ridiculous, but yeah. And then you've got the Americans. The Americans will speak to someone who will get a cut of them on there. Listen, you can own a Premiership club. This is what it is. They've got this great deal where they don't even own their own stadium, but they've got this really cheap rent. They don't have to do anything. They literally just turn up and do the football inside of it, and we can hire the right people to do that. When you say it that way, it sounds like a way. So I don't have to do anything with the club. I literally just have to pay the rent and then invest in the players, and I can take the money out and I'm a Premiership owner. Yeah, you'll get someone to do that. I mean, fucking, what's his face? Manning owns Birmingham. Is it Manning? Peyton, whichever one. He owns part of Birmingham. Someone will do that. So there's what you just need is one of them to do it, and hopefully they do it in a way which is positive for the club. Just because I wrote it down earlier, if this is costing so much for the stadium, why don't they then, West Ham and the Newham Council, is it the Newham Council you said?
Yeah, the London Legacy, the Olympic Legacy Committee, and in conjunction with Newham Council, it's all a bit of a prickly thing, but yeah.
So surely the council will have access to know where there's certain lands and stuff. Why don't they just come together and go, right, tell you what, stadium's not fit for purpose. We're going to get into more issues in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Let's scrap this. We'll sell this off. And us as West Ham and you find us a location, we'll put our effort into putting a stadium and we'll go some sort of share so that now not only do we have our own stadium, you can still do your other stuff if you want to do like events and stuff, but we'll cut a slice of it for both of us. So it's more
a spirit for football.
Yeah.
For football, yeah.
Yeah, but then if you look at the Bernabeu, like how it is now, I mean, I don't think you're going to spend 1.2 billion on a stadium, but it's outrageous. You could easily do something like on a budget to maybe you can't get 65, 70,000, but
like 40, 50,000 type would be amazing. I'll tell you that right now.
You're going to bring back the loyal West Hams, the Irons. You're like, you know what? Fuck, can't get a season ticket, but I'll pay for a ticket. I'll make sure I'm there before the fucking anyone wants to come over. If people want to come over, and I still can't get a ticket to this new stadium. I have to book in advance. I'll have to book in advance. It's
what about that, Van?
Yeah, it's crazy. It just, to me, that would be the solution I'd look at. You know what? We're all in this shit together. How do you get out of the shit as a group? You pull together, right? You can't afford to waste 40 fucking million every year on this stadium and lose out. We can't afford to fucking have a soulless empty place where the risk of us relegating, we could never come back. The Olympic Stadium is a historic thing. Tell you what then, Why don't we change it all, make it into fucking flats, make the money off the flats, have a section or an area where it's just the remembrance of the Olympic Stadium. So you can have like little highlights of it. Look at fucking 5Ds and VRs now. You could have a section where you could virtually walk around it. It's going to be half the fucking size, a quarter of the size. Then use the money to put in as a group. Right, fine as the land. That land's not good enough. Fine as the land. That land's not good enough. It's not the right area. Let's get somewhere and put in a 45-seater stadium, which is football purposely built for West Ham. And then the Borough Council are not shipping out 40 million. They could actually do a deal to pay some of it back so they're actually in profit with it by helping. The Olympic Stadium or the Olympic Committee gets a little bit out of that and they get the area from the museum or whatever you want to do. I mean, a museum would be better, actually, yeah. And then you've got West Ham who have a purpose-built football club stadium that they own, which they can do how they want to. Right, we want you to sit where you want to sit. I'll tell you what we're going to do. If you've got a season ticket with us, we'll let you pick where you want to sit. So speak to your friends and we'll put you in a ballot to sit in a certain area. If you want to sit in this area, section 1, section 2. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll accommodate groups, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to sit there, I'll tell you what, there's 50 of us that always used to sit together. Right, tell you what, we'll do our best to get you back in. What about here? What about here? What about there? Brilliant.
Best idea I've heard.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Me, as I was writing it down, that just made sense for me.
There's talk of like building another stadium eventually, but they're talking about, and you won't know the geography, but they're talking about Tilbury. So I don't know how well you know sort of London, Essex, like that way, but near like the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, you know, like the crossing over to Dartford, like nowhere near West Ham, like, you know, from where you live to Santa Cruz, or like, you know, from like Leicester to like Longbridge in Birmingham, distance. It's not like it's too far away. It's on the docks. It's like, you know, it's not suitable. Like years ago, let me just quickly say, the old post office ground in Canning Town, which is where the club was born, that was an option for a ground. But I don't know what happened with that. We should get Nigel Khan on here because he'll know. He's like a football West Ham historian.
Well, what about then? Maybe. I mean, it might sound mad for you to think of, but if AC Milan can have a share stadium, why can't you share a stadium with someone else and go, right, tell you what, sell it for stadium. This is what we'll do. We'll still accommodate you. You can still play there. The leagues will do alternative fixtures and stuff like that. It's not a problem. As we've said before, why the hell would you buy a bar and only open it at night? Why would you have a football stadium but only open it every other week? Doesn't make any sense to me. You've still got the cost to run. Still got to hire the staff. So why not have it during every week? Then you've got, say Leyton Orient, for example. You got Leyton Orient there. They play midweek. You play midweek. So you've got a Wednesday game, a Thursday game. Yeah, you'll have to spend good money on fucking ground staff to keep your pitch on point. Yeah. But you get what you pay for. So to me, that to me, what would you rather do? Piss away money on fucking players like Fulkrug, or have a great ground staff team that can keep your pitch immaculate regardless of the condition? Just to me, that would make sense. A ground share, the pitch it gets used every week. You can then have double the income. You're splitting it with what other club it is. To me, it would make sense. And then fans that are missing out on, maybe the stadium is not as big as it is now, are missing out, might then, you know what, I'll go to the Leyton Orient game because we went into the Bally for the West Ham games, we didn't get it. We get a little concession on this. So you know what, I'll go there. Why the hell would you not? You're not going to lose a fan for it, but you got the opportunity. You know what, actually, there's a couple of decent players here. It's enjoyable. Oh, look, boom, cup game, West Ham, I can go. But I mean, you're still buzzing for. To me, that actually makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, makes sense. So just as an overview, because I'm mindful of the time, and then we'll do a who am I? What's your overview of what you've learned today? Because you didn't necessarily know that, and I think we've scratched the surface on a lot of it. There's things I'll kick myself that I didn't tell you, but that's generally your match day experience. That's generally your surroundings. That's generally your transport links, your commute, your atmosphere, your board and ownership. What do you make of it?
I put it down to, you know what? I think it feels like some of the owners or people that run football clubs are taking advantage of football fans' loyalties, and that's to me what it all boils down to.
That was exactly the slogan, and it was stop taking advantage of loyalty. And again, this makes me want to get Nigel Khan on. I wanted to get him on, he's a friend of mine. I wanted to get him on to do his 1 to 11 anyway. But to get him on, because he was the one man and his dog standing back in 2013, 14, 15, protesting, saying this is not going to be what they're telling you. I've seen the plans. It's not going to be that close to the pitch. And he was a real, standing up, and he got a lot of shit, a lot of abuse from people. Oh, you're standing in the way of ambition and blah, 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 blah. And he sits back, and even him, who is football mad, arranges his holidays, arranges his wedding around football fixtures. He's like, even he's getting a little bit like, I can't be bothered to go over there. So I want to get him on. I'll do that. Right, hit us with a who am I, and we'll pick this up. We'll talk about your idea for the ground. He could talk us about in great history with a club, and then what happened with a move and everything. That'd be a great episode.
This is a visual one, quite an easy one, I reckon. I got it straight away, but I thought let's throw an easy one at you. Guess the player. AC Milan, Saint Etienne, Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea.
In that order. Those clubs in. Put it up again, please.
AC Milan, Saint Etienne, Borussia Dortmund, Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea.
Fabregas.
No, that's not the end of his career. There is another club afterwards, but everything is done.
All right.
With Chelsea.
Trying to think who.
I'll give you some clues if you want. AC Milan. So I'll give you a clue. He's won a Premiership top goal scorer.
Right.
He played for Milan early doors. Not his first club. He was actually bought for them. When he went to Saint Etienne as a right winger, they sort of made him into a striker. And he played under Klopp at Dortmund. Mikel Arteta was the one that wanted him out at Arsenal and made sure he was out. Striker.
I can't think who's gone from Dortmund to Arsenal and Arsenal to Barcelona.
I think it was about 50 odd million from Dortmund to Arsenal, seen as a great signing, and he was a good signing, but apparently a bad apple. And I'm pretty sure he went to Barcelona on a free.
Not that Moretta who got the drug caught taking coke.
No. I thought you'd get this one because I literally looked at him and, that's a good one. I got that one because I knew he'd played for Saint Etienne.
Yeah, see, I think my head's probably on what we've been talking about. Give us one more clue.
What do you want? You tell me. What do you want?
I don't know. I don't know.
Striker who played under Klopp. Played under Mikel Arteta, seen as a bad influence. AC Milan, people forget or don't know that he played for AC Milan.
Where's he playing now? Still playing now?
I think he's at Marseille.
No, I'm not going to get this today. I've let you down, mate.
Aubameyang.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It seems. I wouldn't have known AC Milan and Saint Etienne. Now you say it. Dortmund. Yeah. Because he was at Arsenal.
When Mikel got rid of him as a bad egg, he was still their main man as well, wasn't he? So.
Yeah. He had a little period where he was banging the goals in.
Yeah, he was. He was flying, wasn't he? He was loving it, but just one of them. Long episode, but a good episode as per usual.
Mate, I think that was a great episode. Definitely more to follow up on. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know, did you know a lot of that stuff that I've divulged today? What would your answer be? What do you think of Fraser / Kanye's suggestion moving forward? As always, you bang on the pulse with circumstances and things that go on. In the fact that we sent Karen Brady out to Saudi to try and drum up some interest. We've had the Qatari group interested. There was a consortium of ex-players led by Tony Cottee that was meant to be taken over called Pire Capital. So you bang on the money with the things you spoke about. But before we go, let us know what you think, and we'll follow up. We'll try and get a few more in this week. If you don't mind, rather than sign off and play our usual music, I'm going to sign off again Now you know what you know, and everyone who's watched know what they know. And I'm going to show you one more time before we leave, and then I'm going to press end at the end of the video. The atmosphere in the ground, with us fans told on the 9th minute to give a rousing, uplifting chorus of Antonio's song. So I'm going to leave you with that. Until next time, thanks for joining us, people.
Pocket of fans trying to get Antonio's song going, right? Fuck off. You sing here, people look at you like you've got 2 fucking heads. Flat as a pancake. This is not what I remember. Look. Antonio, just me.